issues coming out of today's sessions, mainly I think very interesting in terms of relating it back home here, noting that it's an international conference. The fact that yes, abortions are legal in South Africa. However, when we look at the implementation, when we look at the backlash that women have to face while trying to access these services, the lack thereof of the services, specifically in your rural areas, and just in general the difficulties that women and also girls of a reproductive age need to face while trying to actually exercise this right, which is a constitutional right in South Africa. But I think to speak to us more and tell us, in depth, Dr. Mhlanga, who's actually an advocate, a big advocate in South Africa for women's rights, specifically when it comes around the topic and the issue of abortions. Doctor, tell us, I think most importantly in some of the sessions that it came out very highlighted the legalities and the backlash that women actually have to face, specifically in your rural areas, being turned away from clinics, being turned away from public hospitals.
Yeah, the major issue that we have is that although the Act is very liberating, it allows women to make a decision about their pregnancies, right from the time they get pregnant, right up to the time when they deliver. It is quite difficult for them to access the services, particularly when they want to have the pregnancies terminated under 20 weeks, which is what the law allows. Various people quote the traditions, the culture, in terms of not wanting to assist these women. However, there's no woman who goes and wants to terminate a pregnancy willy-nilly. They go through a lot of introspection, looking at themselves, looking at their circumstances, and then making the decision that continuing with the pregnancy is not theirs. They cannot afford that. Unfortunately, the government, the health services in most parts of the country do not pay particular attention to the rights of the women to make that decision about their pregnancies. So they do not train enough people, but and when they go to facilities, then they get turned back. There are various stories of people being asked to come again and again until the period expires. In other words, they become more than 13, 14 weeks where the nurses may be able to help, or they go above 20 weeks, which is when the doctors would have been able to assist them under 20 weeks. So this causes women then to be frustrated, and many of them now have started going back to these illegal providers that are often unsafe, and then they suffer the consequences, or they suffer complications from those.